explosive, unstoppable, legendary, at the very least in fantasy football. These are the few words that describe Jamaal Charles. Today, we're diving into the career of the Kansas City Chiefs superstar running back, looking at his early life, his college exploits, his NFL dominance, and the legacy that he left on the field and how it ended. Jamaal Charles, for me, is somebody that I do believe that over time will be forgotten among the best running backs during his era. I think that's just the nature of the game. If you weren't the best of your generation, it's more likely than not that people are going to forget you eventually. If you guys could do me a solid and like and subscribe, we're on the road to 2,000 subs. Thank you guys so much for the support to this point, but let's get right into it and talk about Jamaal Charles. Born on December 27th, 1986 in Port Arthur, Texas, Jamaal Charles discovered his passion for football at an early age. Despite facing challenges with a learning disability, Charles found solace and success on the football field, among other sports, as he was frequently on the Special Olympics teams. His speed and agility were apparent from the start, making him a standout player in high school. Charles's journey continued at the University of Texas, where he made an immediate impact. As a Longhorn, he amassed over 3,300 rushing yards and 36 touchdowns in 3 seasons, cementing his status as a top NFL prospect. In 2008, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Jamaal Charles in the 3rd round, 73rd overall. It didn't take long for him to showcase his talent at the professional level. In his rookie season, Charles did flash his potential, but he was splitting time with then running back star Larry Johnson. It wasn't until 2009, though, that he truly broke out. When Johnson got hurt, Charles ended up rushing for over 1,100 yards in just 10 starts, averaging an astonishing 5.9 yards per carry. If you guys remember my Trent Richardson video, just in 2018, the average running back would get about 4.3 yards per carry. Just to put it in perspective of how good this guy was each time he touched the ball. Some of Charles' most memorable moments include his record-setting 259 rush yards against the Denver Broncos in 2010. Another standout moment came in 2013 against the lowly Raiders, where Charles would score 5 total touchdowns in this game. 4 of them, incredibly, were from the pass game. And it does not stop there for the 2013 season, because as a whole, this might have been Charles' best season. To put it all into perspective, Charles would rush for 1,287 yards while scoring 12 times on the ground. But what really took his season to the next level was the pass catching. Charles would grab a whopping 70 passes for nearly 700 yards and would catch another 7 touchdowns. Altogether, that is almost 2,000 scrimmage yards and 19 total touchdowns. So to put it in perspective, guys, yes, I know nowadays it is very common to have the pass catching running back. Maybe not as common when Charles was around. The NFL was in transition to get to that point, but they weren't there just yet. Charles was one of those running backs that would take the running back game to the next level. Over the course of his career, Charles racked up 7,563 rushing yards and 44 rushing touchdowns, with an average of 5.4 yards per carry. This is the highest in NFL history for players with at least 1,000 carries. To go along with this, Charles caught 310 passes for just under 2,600 pass yards and 20 passing touchdowns. As I do these videos, I'm beginning to see a pattern with a lot of these guys. They're great, they do X, Y, and Z, but then they start getting injured, and then they're just not the same after the injuries start adding up. It's happened to AJ Green, it happened to Dez Bryant, and unfortunately, it happened to Jamaal Charles. Knee issues would begin in 2011 and again in 2015 and 2016, limiting his playtime and effectiveness. Despite this, his impact on the game and the Chiefs organization was undeniable. He would come back time and time again, but each time just could not recapture the 2013 magic. Don't get that twisted though. He still had pretty good seasons, but never 2013. Jamaal Charles officially retired as a Chief in 2019, signing a one-day contract to end his career where it began, leaving behind a legacy of breathtaking runs and unforgettable performances. So how exactly do we grade Jamaal Charles' career? Despite the injuries, Charles' peak was as high as any running backs in NFL history. His combination of speed, vision, and versatility made him a nightmare for defenses. For his contributions on and off the field, we're gonna have to give Jamaal Charles a B+ for his remarkable career, and an A for his fantasy career, might I add. You also can't help but do a little imagining, where if Charles had begun his career maybe 5 years later, in this scenario, he would be in his prime with Patrick Mahomes as this quarterback. But enough about these nightmares, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think? Where does Jamaal Charles rank for you guys? Today, Jamaal Charles lives a relatively quiet life, being nominated in 2023 for the Hall of Fame. And although he wasn't a finalist, I wouldn't be too surprised if one day Charles's name would be called into Canton. And other than that, he's just been enjoying life, calling picks for the NFL draft, which I gotta be honest, man, the Chiefs set him up there. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. That is, if you're a menace, you might laugh. But that'll be all, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think? If you've made it this far, do me a solid and thumbs up this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We do weekly videos on this channel. Thank you guys so much for the support. Until next time, though, it's been Shoop Boy.